This is your tech news briefing for Friday, March 24th. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. On Thursday, TikTok CEO Shou testified before the House Energy and Commerce Committee. And from the start, the exchanges between the TikTok boss and U.S. lawmakers were fiery. Here's the committee's chair, Washington Representative Cathy Rodgers, questioning Shou.
As I previously referenced, TikTok spied on American journalists. Can you say with 100% certainty that neither ByteDance nor TikTok employees can target other Americans with similar surveillance techniques?
Chair Rodgers, I first of all disagree with the characterization that is spying. It was an internal investigation.
Yes or no? Can you do surveillance of other Americans?
We will protect the U.S. user data and fire it all from all unwanted foreign access. It's a commitment that we've given to the committee.
So I guess my question is, I wanted to hear you say with 100% certainty that neither ByteDance nor TikTok employees can target other Americans with similar surveillance techniques as you did with the journalist.
Again, I don't disagree with the characterization is surveillance, and we have given our commitments, Chair Rodgers. The 4 commitments, I think it's our commitment that we will not be influenced by any government.
With me to discuss what else happened at the hearing and what it means for TikTok's future is WSJ tech policy reporter John McKinnon. Hi, John. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, John, we just heard that fiery interaction between Shou and Chair Rodgers. Was that the tone throughout the hearing?
It certainly was. I was really surprised to hear so many unfriendly questions from so many lawmakers in a row. It must have been quite an experience for Mr. Shou.
The U.S. government is threatening to ban TikTok in the country if its Chinese owners don't sell their stake. Did it seem like Shou's testimony did anything to prevent that from being the outcome?
I don't think that his testimony has done too much to advance TikTok's cause or win many more friends in Congress than it currently has, which is not very many. That said, I think that he did a pretty good job of hanging in there and taking the hits, and there was no knockout, I would say. He didn't really get angry or lash out at any of the questions that he was getting. He maintained his equilibrium. So in a sense, he might have bought some time for TikTok, because one thing that Congress is not very good at is doing things quickly. And I think maybe TikTok hopes that if Congress drags this out for a lot longer, then TikTok has a hope of finally winning people over to its point of view.
Were there any specific interactions during the hearing that stood out to you?
I was struck by some questions that came from Representative Kamak. She's a Republican from Florida. She showed a TikTok video that depicted a handgun firing, and it had a caption that mentioned the hearing that went on, and also mentioned the chair of the committee that was holding the hearing, Cathy Rodgers from Washington.
This video has been up for 41 days. It is a direct threat to the chairwoman of this committee, the people in this room, and yet it still remains on the platform. And you expect us to believe that you are capable of maintaining the data security, privacy, and security of 150 million Americans where you can't even protect the people in this room?
We know that TikTok has this plan called Project Texas to house U.S. users' data with the cloud company Oracle that's based in Austin. Did Shou make any other pledges about users' data or protecting U.S. users?
He had a pretty carefully crafted formula of a series of security promises, most of which are embodied in Project Texas, and he kept coming back to that over and over. TikTok has this very extensive set of promises on security and privacy that they say is really an industry leader, and that other tech companies don't do anything like what they're promising to do. And they're hoping that that's going to be a sufficient alternative to either banning TikTok or trying to force a sale of TikTok to essentially a non-Chinese company.
Has China reacted at all to the idea that the U.S. might force a sale of TikTok?
Yes. The Chinese government put out a statement that basically said that any sale of TikTok would involve the export of Chinese technology and therefore would have to be approved by the Chinese government. And this occurred right before the hearing started. and created quite a stir, I would say, with the members of Congress who, in a way, I think it put TikTok in a tougher position because it suggested that China's really on the side of ByteDance and TikTok, ByteDance being TikTok's parent.
Interesting. I want to turn to another issue that's been raised concerning TikTok. That's the issue of young users on the platform. Representative Bob Latta, he's a Republican from Ohio, he told this story about a 10-year-old girl who participated in a breath-holding challenge that was popular on TikTok. I just want to play this clip from Representative Latta.
Unfortunately, this is one of the many devastating examples of children losing their lives because of content promoted by TikTok. Section 230 was never intended to shield companies like yours from amplifying dangerous and life-threatening content to children.
He mentioned Section 230 there. That is what prevents platforms from being liable for information that their users put up. But how much did this issue of child safety come up at the hearing, and how did Shou respond?
Oh, it was a consistent theme in this hearing, and there were all kinds of examples. The one that Mr. Latta was talking about is known as the Blackout Challenge. There's also the Milk Crate Challenge, the NyQuil Chicken Challenge, the Benadryl Challenge. There's a challenge that promotes car theft. So members brought a lot of these up over and over, I would say. And they also brought in comparisons to the sister app of TikTok in China, which is called Douyin, and noted that this kind of thing just doesn't happen on that app. And so it was a really, really tough line of questioning for Mr. Shou. TikTok has announced a lot of sort of special protective policies for children on the app. And again, a lot of these are industry-leading standards, according to TikTok, and they are very careful to give a different type of content to younger children who identify as younger. The problem with all of these protections is they depend on knowing how old the kid is who's using the app, and quite often they don't know. Quite often the kids can say they're older than they really are, and these protections just don't work all that well. But at least they were prepared for it, but I don't think a lot of members were won over.
Okay, so what happens next?
What comes next is a little bit less clear. Congress, is never very quick out of the blocks. And so we've gotten a hearing where a lot of members expressed a lot of concern, even anger at some points with TikTok, but it's still not clear exactly what Congress can do, and perhaps more important, when it can do it.
All right, that's WSJ Tech Policy Reporter John McKinnon. And that's it for Tech News Briefing this week. But another quick reminder before we close the show that we still want to hear your questions about generative artificial intelligence. Do you want to know more about programs like ChatGPT, Microsoft's new Bing search, or Google's new Bard? Email us a voice recording to tnb@wsj.com, or leave your AI question as a voicemail on 415-439-6482. We look forward to hearing from you. TNB's producer is Julie Chang. We had production assistance from Zoe Colkin. Our supervising producer is Melanie Roy, and our executive producer is Chris Sinsley. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for listening, and have a great weekend.